Damon Martin, MMA fighting here with the number one pound for pound boxer in the world, about to make her mixed martial arts debut June 10th in the PFL. Welcome back, Claressa Shields. Claressa, thank you so much for taking the time. And well, I tell you what, I'm excited. The date's coming soon.
Yeah, it's very, very close. I believe we're 24 days out.
How we talked right when the transition happened, when you were, I think, your first week into training at Jackson Wink. Now, obviously, here you are about 4 weeks out from the fight, a little less than 4 weeks out from the fight. How has training been going? How has this transition been for you?
The transition has been it's been a way different experience. It's been fun. It's been frustrating. It's been hard, but it's been very informational. And I believe that I've been learning and I get better every week. So that means a lot to me.
All right, let me ask you a two-part question with that. So I'll ask you the good side and then the bad side. What has been the best part of the transition? Has it just been having fun learning new things? Like, what has been the best part of learning MMA for you so far?
Who doesn't love sparring?
And then what about the worst side? What's been the toughest part?
Just really dealing with the soreness of, jiu-jitsu and wrestling, really. I can say, like, not actually doing it, but dealing with, like, the soreness that comes with it. It's way different on my body than boxing. It's way more weight and things you have to do in those sports.
Yeah. Now, how old were you when you first started boxing? Like, when you first put on gloves, how old were you?
11.
11 years old. So for the better part of 14 years, boxing has been your life. I mean, obviously gold medals in the Olympics, every championship you could win in boxing. As I said, number one pound for pound fighter in the sport. But going into MMA, I mean, I think it gets lost in translation a lot of times that boxing and MMA are two different sports. I mean, they have some of the same components. But how has that been? Because this is stepping completely out of your comfort zone. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah, it is. Definitely, I'm not I'm a boxer. Been boxing since I was 11 years old. I'm 26, so 15 years. And it's definitely out my comfort zone. But I have such a great team and great coaches for them to help me get comfortable with being uncomfortable. When I first came to camp, I was having huge anxiety, just about, like, could I do the MMA training? Could I stay calm if I got taken down? Could I even stay calm against the cage? Could I even learn how to get up, after being down, or just keeping my head? And I learned that I can do all that and more. So I'm happy that we just we jumped into all the things that I wasn't good at. or that I didn't know, and they just started teaching me, and I'm a really great learner. And that's something I knew that will play in my favor, is that I learn things very quick and very easy, and I can learn from just watching. And then when you explain it to me and you put the details in there, it makes it even easier for me. So that has played in my favor, me being able to learn and be smart and make a move my own, and make it comfortable for me. So it's been fun, but like I said, it's apples and oranges. I think when you go to eat an apple, you just kind of rinse it off and you bite it. That's boxing. And then when you get an orange, you got to peel it, and then you got to break it down, into all the different, pieces. And that's kind of how I think of MMA. It's like you still can eat it just like you eat an apple. The outcome is the same. You want to win a fight, so that's basically eating. But it's like when it comes to winning MMA, it's so many different ways you can win. So when you break down an orange, you got, jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, Muay Thai, boxing, wrestling, so many different karate. You got so many different things that you can do in MMA to win fights.
Yeah. Now we've had this conversation before. Obviously, you've accomplished so much in your boxing career, and you could have gone the next 10 years and just been a boxer and beat every woman out there and done that. I know you saw the message from Conor McGregor, talking about, how awesome it was that you're making the transition, because it's not easy. We got to be honest. It's not easy to do this. Yeah. Have you found a passion for MMA? So, I mean, I know when we first talked about it, you said that, it's tough and it's not easy and you're learning all these new things and everything, but have you found a passion for MMA now that you've been doing it for a little bit?
I have a passion for fighting. So to me, that's how I'm able to do boxing and MMA. I have a passion to win and do whatever it takes to win. I have a passion to learn whatever I need to learn to win. So MMA, I have a passion to learn because I want to win the fight. So that's just what it is for me. I just have this huge passion to go to war, fight people, fight women, and come out on top. So yes, I already had the passion already, but I didn't realize that it's kind of more passion because now I have a lot. I feel like I have a lot more to fight for. I feel like me just even coming and getting inside the MMA cage is a lot, but to win, even win one fight, win 10 fights or whatever, it's like you really took the time to humble yourself and start back from the bottom and then climb back to the top. And, to show that my winning spirit and me being passionate just about knowing that, look, I may not be a black belt in jiu-jitsu and I may not be, a judo expert and stuff like that, but I am a boxing expert and my boxing will help me in all my fights.
Absolutely.
Of them. And everything that I'm working on too, that I'm learning. We're not just focusing on my boxing, but we're focusing on, the wrestling, the jiu-jitsu, and I'm learning. So I'm adding that to my boxing, which will always be more superior than majority, 98% of the girls who I would get inside the cage with.
Yeah. How much of an influence has it been to have people like Holly Holm around, a fighter who made that transition from boxing into MMA? I saw a photo you posted on your Instagram recently where you went to a training session. Holly was there. I know you've worked with John Jones, and obviously there's a lot of great people at Jackson Wink, but I imagine Holly is a great asset, right? Somebody who actually made that move.
Yeah, me and Holly are actually friends, and we sparred, we sparred a few rounds in these past few weeks. And after every sparring session, we have a talk about what I did good, where I messed up at, just ways to move forward, in the next sparring session. But she is very informational, and just really great at her job. Like, in MMA sparring, we don't go 100%, but people like to see us spar. I can say that. People like to see us spar because they see that I have a lot of mental toughness, physical toughness, and I try to match it with hers, even though she's way more experienced than me with the kicks and the knees and things of that sort. But I also still, like I said, I'm learning, and I have a few kicks, and I have my hands that, like I said, are superior. And just me and her working together, I feel like, I'm an asset to her, as in if she ever fights against her, somebody who wants to strike with her. And she's an asset to me if I, fight against anybody who tries to, throw hard kicks, get me against the cage, most of me take me down and things of that nature. And she's an all-around great fighter, and she comes from a boxing background. So when we talk, she's like, yeah, MMA, when you knock people down, you got to go finish them. In boxing, people get to get it 8-10 seconds. So she's like, just remember that, well, you're not gonna go down, go in there and take her out, So I'm glad she said that, because like I said, I've been boxing for 15 years. So just that her saying that to me is kind of in my mind, like, okay, you're going to knock a girl down with your punches. When you knock her down, continue, go, and just open my mind up and sparring to where this is all the things you can do. So I don't just have to box. I don't just have to, stay away or be scared. Like I can, I can punch, and I know what to do if somebody gets me in a bad position. So it's been great working with her.
Yeah. Now we know day one, when you step into the cage on June 10th, you're going to have better boxing than anybody. Let's just be honest, anybody in the sport. There's no shame in, so there's nothing wrong with that, obviously. But how excited are you for the opportunity to show what Claressa Shields can do with an elbow, or what Claressa Shields could do with a knee or a kick? I've seen you kick. We know you kick hard already. Or when you land your first takedown, are these things you're excited to show what you've been learning?
Yeah, but in the PFL, we can't elbow, just FYI. So if you don't see me throwing any elbows, that's why. But yeah, I'm super excited about all that, but more than anything, I'm really just focused on the win. I feel like I can become an entertainer in the sport when I get more experience. But right now, the only thing I'm focusing on is just the win. But people are going to see that I definitely know more than boxing when I get inside the cage. You're definitely going to be able to see that.
Yeah. Now I know you recently attended a PFL show. You were out there for the first round of the women's lightweight tournament of the season. Did you enjoy that? And I know there was a lot of talk. You were out there, watching Kayla Harrison. I know that's not going to be your next fight, or probably your next fight after that, or even the next fight after that. But what did you think of that show? And did you have an eye on Kayla just because she is the champion right now?
Well, one, I really enjoyed the show. I'm thankful that the PFL team invited me out. And I really went to do a photo shoot for a company that I just got sponsored by, Bose Headphones. So I went out there to do that shoot for them, and also just to do a cage walk, just to see how it would feel having to walk to the cage and get inside the cage and all that stuff, because I've never done it before. So it was just good to get that experience and me to kind of envision myself actually walking to the fight and seeing what nerves and stuff I would be dealing with, so I can know how to deal with it when it comes fight night. That's really why I was there. But why not go to the fights if they're the same day? When I went to the fights, I wasn't going to the fights to scope. Kayla Harrison is a champion. Pacheco, I believe, is second. And then the girls, come below. But me being who I am, knowing that I may be in the tournament next year, of course, I'm looking at all the girls, not just Kayla. I'm looking at all the girls to see, like, okay, because I may have to fight against all those girls before I even get to Kayla, right? So I really was just looking at everybody fighting and enjoying the MMA fights, and just seeing what potential opponents I would have for next year, or that I could have in the near future. And I felt like out of the 8 girls who I seen fight in the league, I felt like watching I can beat at least 5 of them now. So that was great for me to see. But now we know also too why I'm not in the tournament this year, because it got these 3 other girls, or 2 other girls, who are monsters, right? And I really need to learn more, to where when I do get the chance to get inside the cage with them, that I don't go in there and it'd be like be a flop situation. Like, oh, she went here and just got hurt. Like, where I can actually compete, So I respect those girls, but definitely I'm looking at everybody as an opponent in the PFL who's at 155. I have to. That's my job, But I'm really focused on Brittany Elkin in June 10th. But I know that, as I continue to grow in MMA, that me and my team have a big decision to make next year. With all the training that I'm doing now, I'll be doing after fight and doing next year. We're going to have a big decision to make. Are you ready for the PFL tournament or not? And that's really up to my coaches. I just know that I'm just submerging myself in all the different arts, and we'll see what happens. But I'm definitely looking forward to it. But Kayla is a monster. Pacheco is a monster. I really have a lot of respect for those girls and all the girls in the PFL.
Yeah, we've seen it a lot lately, and I know you've seen it with a lot of mixed martial artists, talking about crossing over into boxing. And I understand part of that's a payday, and I don't fault them for that. I'm never going to fault anyone for making money. Ben Askren made a lot of money fighting Jake Paul. Good for him. I got no problem with that. But a big difference here with you crossing over is you're not just crossing over for an experiment. You're crossing over because you want to be known as the greatest of all time. You've already accomplished so much in boxing, and you're not done with boxing. We know that as well. But do you think that's a big difference in what you're doing right now? This isn't an experiment to say, I'm going to do this once just to see what it's like. You're in it to prove you're the best. And I think that's a different mentality, right, than what we're seeing with a lot of the crossover talk, where people are saying, I want to cross over. And listen, again, I'm not going to fault anyone for making money, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I just feel like for me, it's like I said, champions. When you're a champion, people look at your accomplishments and they say, "What else can you do? What else can you do?" And for me, being the greatest woman of all time, I'm the greatest one of all time in boxing, hands down. But I feel like if I add just add MMA to it, then who could dispute that? Nobody can dispute that. Any girl in boxing or any girl in MMA, she won't be able to say, "Oh no, she's not the GWOAT." I am the GWOAT in boxing, and I'll be the GWOAT in MMA when if I get the chance to fight in the PFL and I become a PFL MMA champion at the same time that I'm boxing. Like, who will be able to dispute that? I'm the greatest one of all time. Like, I beat all the girls in boxing, and now I beat girls in MMA. So I feel like that's just adding to me being the GWOAT and also getting my just due. In women's boxing, women don't get paid that much. And I've won every title you can think of, every last organization. 3-time division world champ, 2-time undisputed champ at 154 and 160. And I've held titles at 168. And it's like, I'm not, a millionaire, right? I'm not known. I'm known worldwide, but I'm not a household name yet. And it's like, there's nothing more I can do in women's boxing to make me be a household name because I've done everything. Nothing else I can do. People was talking about me and Layla Ali fighting or her coming out of retirement. I still wouldn't be a household name after that win. So I felt like coming into MMA while I'm 25, 26 years old and just kind of dipping into the sport right now while I still can. I still got my moves and stuff, and I'm still super athletic and energetic to do it now, and to just see what I can get out of it. And from what I'm seeing, I've got a lot of love and a whole lot of support, and strangely, a lot more money. So.
Yeah. Well, we know that, again, we've had this conversation about sexism in boxing before, but we know what women in MMA have done. Ronda Rousey is, one of the biggest names in combat sports history. And I don't care what sport you're talking about. You look at Holly Holm, your teammate. She is massively known. Amanda Nunes today, like there are names out there. And again, I'm not, it's unfortunate boxing doesn't do that, but it's true. Ronda Rousey is a household name. Holly Holm is a household name. Yes. Claressa Shields should be a household name.
Right. And it's not. So that's why I'm doing MMA, because for me, it's a bigger picture. It's like, I want to be a household name. I want to be a millionaire. I want to get my just due. And I was never able to get my just due in boxing. So I'm going to use my athleticism and see what I can do in MMA.
Yeah. Before I get you out of here, I know the focus is solely on June 10th, so I don't want to take the attention away from that. But do you have an idea what the rest of the year will look like for you? Because obviously I know you do intend on boxing again. I know you said you wanted to get a couple of MMA fights in this year. So do you have a general idea of what the next 6 months are going to look like for you? Assuming everything goes well on June 10th, you go out and get a big win. Do you have a general idea what you want to do for the rest of 2021?
I know June 10th I probably fight another MMA fight. August, September, I believe. I'm not really sure. And then I'll spend the rest of the year focusing on boxing after that.
And then you said at that point, once you get through the year, that's when you and your team will sit down and decide about the tournament for next year. Is that accurate?
Nope, actually be almost toward the end of next year to where we would have that conversation about if I'm ready for the tournament. It'd be toward the end of not this year, but end of next year, 2022.
Gotcha. Well, Claressa, all eyes are going to be on you. I know we've talked about this before. The attention you've gotten has been awesome, and I've loved seeing it. I know you've loved seeing it. I know you've loved the attention you've gotten from the MMA community and the appreciation you've gotten from the MMA community, and you absolutely deserve it. So June 10th, I absolutely cannot wait to see you make your debut. Brittany Elkins is the opponent. Thank you so much for taking the time. Have a good rest of your training camp. Safe travels out to Atlantic City. Try not to go crazy in the bubble. I know you got to do some quarantine out there, so try not to go crazy. And cannot wait to see your debut here in just a few weeks.
Thank you. I appreciate that.